Alright y'all, I'm going to show you how to solve a trig identity using the trig manipulatives. The problem I'll be solving today is secant squared over secant squared minus 1 equals cosecant squared. Alright, for solving trig identities, you need to solve on the side that is more complicated. So in our case, we're going to solve for this side first, since this side's more complicated than this side. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to convert everything on this side into stuff that we could use that's easier for us to solve the equation. So for example, we're just going to keep this secant squared and we're going to turn this into tangent squared, since secant squared minus 1 equals tangent squared. For this equation to be a little bit more user-friendly, we need to convert everything into sines and cosines. Alright, now we're going to convert this to cosines and sines. So convert the 1 over secant squared into cosines over sines is 1 over cosine squared. And tangent into cosines and sines is sine squared over cosine squared. Alright, since we converted everything to sines and cosines, the new equation is 1 over cosine squared all over sine squared over cosine squared, which is still the same exact equation as the beginning equation, but we just manipulated it so everything is in sines and cosines and it's easier for us to use. So the next step for us to be using is multiplying by the reciprocal. So we're going to be multiplying this by this. Alright, multiplying by the reciprocal means that you're going to be multiplying, this is the top fraction and this is the bottom fraction, but the bottom fraction is flipped upside down, so that's how you can multiply fractions out. Since that these are multiples now, we could see that this and this both cancel out. That means it cancels out, which means we will no longer have it in the equation. Alright, after crossing everything out and then multiplying across, you get the new equation 1 over sine squared equals, which is the same equation. And then when you look at your trig sheet, you see that 1 over sine squared equals cosecant squared. Since cosecant squared equals cosecant squared, we have proven that the trig identity is possible and will work out. That is how you prove how this trig identity is equal and this cosecant squared is equal to this cosecant squared.